I'll resume where we left off previously by pointing out that while your cursor is inside the preview window, the preview will be disabled. Once you move your cursor outside the window, the preview will then reappear. This allows the user to paint or select an object within the boundary of the window without the preview obscuring their view. This time, rather than picking on individual UV shells, I'm just picking on the individual parts to quickly fill them. Let's add it to the body of our scope. Okay, with that done, I'll close the material. Let's go back to Smart Materials, and you can change the thumbnail size by going to the upper right hand corner and changing it here. If you hover over the thumbnail more than 1 second, it will reveal a much larger thumbnail. I'm done with the texture editor for now, so I'll dock that where I had it previously. I'll go to this material, right click and choose Smart Material Editor. Now for a new user, this can be pretty daunting seeing all these different parameters, but really you have the ability to make this as simple as you need or as complex as you need. These layers here are very much like your regular paint layers, except your Smart Material layers have all the channels exposed, to which you have the option to add an image. You can add procedural noise, as we'll see here momentarily. But with each image or with each channel, you can make adjustments here to the right of those individual channels. So you can see this is the depth channel. You can add a texture for that. You can adjust the depth here. It's a percentage of the depth here. If you have 50% depth here in the toolbar, this will be a percentage of that. When you're using color, just to the right side, you'll see an option for modulate or replace. If I want to modulate the color, by using this red color in the foreground of the tool panel, I can choose modulate, and it will create a blend between the two colors. You can see it down here because here in the degree parameter, it's set to more in shadow. If it were always, then I can see the color tint applied to the entire model. If I want more on the edges or bumps, I can choose more on convex and preview the effect. I'll go ahead and expose each of these layers. So you can see you have different conditions for different layers. I'll put this one back to more on shadow. Now our glossiness is modulated by this image. If you hover over this channel, you'll see a large thumbnail of that image. If you want to save the new changes without overwriting the original, you want to make sure to click Save as New. If you want to overwrite the original, you would choose Save. So you want to be careful about that. If you want to go back to the original, the default, you would choose Reset. Obviously, if you want to create a modified version, you may want to change the name as well. Overall displacement scale refers to the overall normal map depth for the entire material. Overall cavity modulator is similar in the sense that it will affect the overall intensity of the conditions painting across the entire material. So we'll go back to 1, and then you have your mapping type here as well. From camera, cube mapping, cylindrical, spherical, and UV mapping. Let's cancel. I want to refresh this preview. And we'll go back to this one. I'll right click on it, Smart Material Editor. You can also hide the individual channels that you are not going to be using. You can go just inside this box here for the name, and you'll see a little toggle. Once you click on that, you can move it up and down the layer stack. You can copy and paste this layer, and you can uncheck any of these channels so that they're not being displayed. If I don't use this layer for depth, glossiness, or metalness, it makes sense to uncheck those. You can hide or unhide individual layers. This is a good way to see just how much a layer is contributing to a material. Click cancel. Let's create one from scratch. What I'll do is go to the very bottom and choose new. If I collapse this Smart Material Preview, then I'll typically get something like this. Rather than it previewing the Smart Material on the object, it's previewing it on a default material ball. So if I change the color, you can see how that's interactively changing. So let's set this to kind of a brownish tan color. And let's say we want to give it some depth. I'll click texture here. The scale is a little bit too large. Maybe we want it to be smaller. Let's click just to the right of the channel icon. And we will be presented with this panel that allows us to change the texture scale. And if I want to use curves, I can right-click to change the curve type from a weighted curve to a standard spline to a hard edge. So this is very common throughout 3D Coat when you're using splines. Left mouse click to create a new point. If I want, I can break it up even further by using a procedural noise on top of that. You can invert it. You can reset the curve if you need. If you want a curve for just the procedural noise, you can select this, modify your curve, or overall for both your texture map and the procedural noise. You can choose whether to modulate twice, additive, or distort. You would choose your texture if you want to change it. With the procedural noise, you can add sharpness or make it more blurry. The noise degree. You can change the seed. The noise scale. You can also copy and paste the results that you have here into another channel slot. If I'm happy with what I have, I can click done. And let's see what it looks like on our object. Way too large. Okay, so let's reset and scale this down. As I mentioned before about the depth being a percentage, if I adjust my depth here, you can see how it changes even though my depth is 100% here. So let's go back to 100 and we'll change it here in the editor. Let's make that 20. That's about right. Maybe scale it down just a bit more. Now if we want to bump up the glossiness, we can add an image for that as well. Choose some kind of a grungy pattern and bump up the glossiness. Let's go to 30. I just now noticed that part of the model appears darker than other areas, so I'll pause right here while I do a bit of investigation and come right back. Alright, so I got that sorted out, and it turned out to be a bacon error related to the PBR shader I was using on the original high poly object. Once again, I got it corrected, rebaked, and we're now ready to proceed where we left off. I'm going to hide this and I'll reveal one where I have already applied this material that we worked on. I'll click on that, right click, and choose Smart Material. Zoom in, you can see it has a little bit of bumpiness to it. If I want to create a worn edges effect, then what I can do is duplicate this layer. With the depth, I'll decrease that to 0 and maybe change the color, at least temporarily, to something quite different so it's a little bit more visible. In fact, I'll just change it to white for now. Then what we want to do is change the condition to something like more on convex. Let's move our Smart Material preview window. And I want to make sure I'm on the right layer. So I'm going to create a new one. I need to close this out. So I'm going to save this for now. And let's create a new layer. Let's reset it. Right click, Smart Material Editor. We'll change this color back, but the white is going to make it a little bit easier to see. Yeah, let's adjust the contrast. Let's adjust the degree amount so it's just on the edges. If we want, we can add some edge scattering here. I'll click that, and I'll just choose some kind of a grungy material to break it up a bit. And you can see the edge scattering is just breaking it up so that the wearing is not so uniform. Now if we want, we can add some noise to this. Let's change the noise curve here. Add a little bit of an S curve. We can adjust the sharpness to make it a little bit more dull. Adjust the seating of the noise. Let's change the noise scale. And we'll just continue to adjust the sharpness all the way down to where it's rather dull. If we want to brighten up the noise, we can adjust our curve. I'll go ahead and click Done. Let's change our color back. Hit OK. I can close that. And I'm going to name this layer so I can identify it more easily next time. So let's try edge wear. And base paint. So let's go ahead and save this out. And I'll hide this layer for the moment. And I'll use the fill tool to go ahead and apply the texture. I'll go ahead and click on it. Okay, so we can see our edge wear here. That's kind of broken up. We can always adjust our depth and glossiness downward. Let's try 50. Same thing here. And I'll adjust my depth a little bit more as well. Okay. So now let's look at the barrel of the gun and see what we can do in terms of finding a more appropriate worn edges metal. I'll stop the video right here and we will do that in the next one, so stay tuned.